Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of Or Something. I am Kristen, and this is Carla.
Hi.
And we're back, bitches. I don't know why I need to swear right off the top. That's what's happening. I got sassy all of a sudden.
Okay. Personality shift.
Uh-oh.
I can't change who I am.
There's no hope.
Even if I wanted to.
It is what it is.
Could I be more sophisticated or dry or witty? No,
that's boring. How's it going? What's happening? What's the haps? I want to bring back that saying, what's the haps? Well, what?
I'm in a panic because I have research. Did I really
Did you pull a Carla?
Organize it, though?
Oh, God. We need to put it like a time limit on for you, too. They'll have a big
I'm a
clock
disaster
there.
this week. I was in the kitchen like all week trying to cook things that I've never really cooked before.
Okay.
And I'm at this like level 8 out of 10 of stress for like how stressful that was. Because it involved chicken schnitzel.
Oh, my goodness.
And chicken is a frickin' like it makes me so scared to cook.
Why?
And then
Why?
Well, because if it's raw, it'll kill somebody.
Yeah, but
you know.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well,
but
not
with
kill
schnitzel,
them,
it's so thin, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, but then
This is me saying stuff. I'm useless. Like,
oh no, I had the same attitude where I'm like, oh yeah, my mom has been doing this like, you know, for countless Sundays, and it must be easy if she does it all the time. I swear, the sweat that I broke out into in that kitchen, I was like, I can't handle this. I almost lost it. I'm like, this is too much. And to make matters worse, when I was breading it, I was watching the birds at the bird feeding station.
that might have been your problem.
And it was
you
so
felt
dark.
really guilty. Oh,
Well, yeah, it's like,
know.
hi, you're so cute, but I'm also breading your dad. It's like, ugh, your dad. Well, whatever. The sparrows have a chicken dad.
And Charles
And how
Darwin
was
is
your
rolling
week?
over in his grave.
Look.
Or he's like, a breakthrough. Amazing. Why didn't I think of this?
A breakthrough for what? Like,
The chickens are the dads of all birds. Hey, if people out there can dedicate their lives to saying that the world is flat, still, in this day and age, you can run wild with your chicken dad theory.
you're right. Chicken dads.
I believe in you.
Okay. Yeah. That I can do. I'll write this like 3,000 page journal with perfect sources and research and everything, but I can't get my act together for this podcast. I'm published. Great. Did you prepare? No.
No. You just published a bunch of Google searches, like 3,000 pages of Google searches.
Oh my God. And how was your week?
It was good.
I've been productive publishing. What have you done?
Hey, I cooked this week. I cooked a turkey dinner.
No, go back. I like the sound of this. A turkey. Is it a cookie?
Oh,
The shape of a turkey?
Ooh, that would be tasty.
Right.
Because the inside would be a little bit raw, so you kind of get the cookie dough a little bit. And you wouldn't die from salmonella.
Oh my God. But that's kind of implying that your turkey was a little bit raw on the inside.
No, but it's because you're baking cookies, not turkey's different or something.
Okay.
No, what would you use as stuffing for a cookie turkey?
Marshmallow fluff.
Ooh.
It's been my dream.
That's
I
bold.
have been dreaming.
I don't like marshmallow fluff very much.
I've never had it.
Maybe I would do peanut butter or some kind of peanut
But
butter.
it could be marshmallow rather than fluff.
Mm-hmm.
But my dream was to have a ginger, like a molasses kind of spice cookie with marshmallow filling. I'm like, I could do that.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I wonder why
What would
they
you do?
call it marshmallow, like what the difference between marshmallow fluff and marshmallows is.
Episode 5.
Let's just start recording it now.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to mention to you on last episode that on my trip with my sister, we went to this like really cool restaurant, like all like very trendy and whatever. It was really nice inside. And I got the mac and cheese there. And it was mac and cheese with jalapenos in it and bacon. It was so good. It was just the right amount of spicy, just the right amount of like bacony. It wasn't quite cheesy
I don't like bacon
enough.
usually, but that sounds good.
You don't like bacon? In
I love
general?
the smell of it, and I want to like it, but then it's always disappointing. Not always, most of the time.
Why? Are you not cooking it properly? It's you.
No, I cook it like a beast. I know how to cook bacon.
That's crazy, really?
Yeah, no, yeah. And then I tried to do the bacon fat thing where you reserve it and you cook something in it because everybody swears by it. Nope.
I did Brussels sprouts with that.
I mean, in theory, it should be great, but I'm like, I don't know.
That's crazy.
But continue about this mac and cheese.
Oh, the mac and cheese was so good.
Was it like, okay, so was it like super kind of, you know when something's creamy in the more like liquidy sense, but creamy? Mm-hmm. But then a lot of mac and cheese gets kind of like stiff, right? Like too thick.
It wasn't
kind of,
too
not
thick.
seizes, but so it still had the nice kind of creamy.
Yes. Yeah, it was very nice and creamy. I would say the only thing that was my problem, and usually it is my problem with like the fancier mac and cheeses, like the restaurant style ones, is that they're not cheesy enough. Like they don't have enough of a bold cheese flavor.
And this one did?
It was borderline. It was pretty good for that, but I always need more cheese until it's a really fine line between like just enough cheese and too much.
Right? Because if you use cheese that's too strong in flavor, right? Like if you try to load it with smoked cheese and Parmesan and all this kind of stuff, it's kind of like,
it's so
and it's
rich.
not enjoyable. It's kind of like, okay, I taste cheese, but it's not really mac and cheese. Yeah, but then sometimes it's just they get so heavy with the Alfredo, and you're like, well, this isn't even mac and cheese anymore.
Yeah. I would have to say, like, that addition of the jalapenos, like, I was worried it would be too spicy. It was just the perfect hint of spice. It was so good. Oh.
Sounds really good.
I wish I had some right now.
Me too.
Let's go make mac and cheese. Screw you, podcast. All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Maybe I should go first.
Get it over with?
No, wait. Who went last time?
I went first last time, I think.
You, yeah. Me. I meant to say you. Word's good. Okay. Thank goodness I'm doing my short one today because I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
I was eating my yogurt, fruit on the bottom, and I hate fruit on the bottom.
I love fruit on the bottom yogurt. Why do you
eat
hate
it? Because I enjoy it.
I love it.
Because it's stupid, and it's like, put my fruit on top, and then also...
But that isn't an option.
It's chunky,
it's either fruit
and
on
then
the...
I have to mix it, and it squirts out of the thing, and I'm like, ugh, stay in my yogurt cup, and then it doesn't. It's the whole thing.
To me, it feels more real than fruit mixed in yogurt, which is not accurate because it doesn't make it more real.
No, the fruit compote is probably even less real.
I like it,
mix
though.
it. I'm good because it
makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So,
side note.
Fruit on the bottom yogurt.
Is that what you're actually talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a relevant story.
Oh my God.
To my topic.
I didn't know I felt so passionately about it until we just started talking about it.
Oh my gosh. There isn't a lot to it, so we can just gab all we want, or we can keep it nice and short.
Tell me everything.
Okay, so I have two sources. Food and Wine did a good article about it, and then something called grubstreet.com.
Okay.
And they're kind of like the same thing. Not the sources. They're not the same thing. I mean, they talk, whatever. Okay. So I'll do the kind of like little overview, and then I'll see if that other article has any. I mean, it does have other information.
We should just sit here while you read a whole article, but like in your head, not out loud.
Shut it. No, everybody, you're going to listen to me reading, okay? Reading voice now. 1939.
Okay. Go. Damn it. I just pictured pictured you in like grade 7 science class or something, like having to, you know, when they make you read from the textbook. It's like, what kind of time are they trying to waste with that? Like, come on, teacher.
And then I pass it, like, after each sentence to my partner.
Yeah.
Now you read one.
Like, this is painful.
Yeah. I make you read. I can't see it. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
So Vice President Henry A. Wallace sends a letter to Hungarian bacteriologist Stephen A. Gaimont, inviting him to the U.S. on a special visa for scientists. Okay, fancy. Once here,
There's a periodic table. Laminated.
Gaimont sets out to perfect, this is the best part, he sets out to perfect the culture that enables early yogurt producers to make a product that has the taste of sour cream, but only 1/6 of the calories.
What? That was the goal?
I know.
Just,
I'm like, how did you get
sour
here?
Cream in a cup? Weird. You'd think it would be like sour cream, but like tastier.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And then, they don't explain any of that. I'm like, but.
Okay.
So, Americans, they were just not having it. But then, 1942, go along, America's at war, and they don't have money. They're like, whatever. My history for you. Young yogurt entrepreneur named Juan Metzger mounts a campaign to market yogurt as an ideal meat substitute. It doesn't work, right? People are like, you're an idiot. But Metzger later pioneers the practice of packing fruit at the bottom of yogurt containers to offset the acidic taste.
Oh.
And that's how Danone is made and takes off.
Oh my God, Danone starts then?
Yes. They started the whole yogurt thing.
No. They were the starters of the yogurt thing? The whole idea of... Not the whole idea, but like...
I mean, it kind of sounds like it. And then... But like fruit on the bottom for sure.
So Danone, like... I remember them only really like becoming popular, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that, when they started coming out with like all those stupid annoying ads that they had. Mm-hmm. And it was really like they really pushed the marketing for it. I literally had never heard of them before then. I thought they were new too. Weird.
And I thought, well, that's a dumb name.
Yeah, it's a really stupid name. Also, what's that guy's name? Juan Metzger? That's quite the combination of
And
cultures.
I love that he can be a yogurt entrepreneur. It's like,
I want to be a yogurt entrepreneur.
Do you though? Now? You'd have to come up with a dumb name like
Yogo.
If I knew how
much it was going to blow up, I would have back then.
Don't worry. People are kind of over yogurt
now. We got yogurt money.
They're over yogurt. I've declared it.
You were just eating some yesterday, and I was going to...
Silence!
I'm gonna eat some in like an hour.
I'll make a smoothie for dinner. Okay, so after the 50s, yogurt kind of just dies off a little bit. People aren't that crazy about it. But then they start, like, they're like, okay, let's make this happen. And in 1976, they start producing, there's yogurts in different sizes, right? But then Sunday style is what they called fruit on the bottom. So that's like, it started picking up
like
popularity,
like
I guess.
Sunday, like as in an ice cream sundae style?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you put...
So they're trying to like market it kind of as a dessert then.
Yeah. So that was kind of like just the rough like outline of what's happening. But there are details.
No, we don't want details.
Okay. No, look. Okay. So, plain yogurt, people really didn't like it. They're like, this stinks. But apparently, immigrants were just like, yeah, this is great. Because in Europe, right, like, I mean, it makes sense that they were all probably using sour cream and, like, plain yogurt for everything.
True.
And, like, even, like, cream cheese and stuff we kind of touched on before, how they, started processed cheese. So, I don't know. Sounds like they're way ahead of everybody in the whole dairy world. I'm like, ooh. Fruit on the bottom was supposed to unite Americans around what was then considered foreign to their palate.
Oh.
And yeah. The founder of America's leading yogurt company, Daniel Carasso, had been making yogurt in Europe, beginning in Spain and France, since 1919, before immigrating to the States in the 40s, bringing a branch of the business with him. Oh, so that other guy, maybe the scientist, was probably just bringing, like, just general yogurt.
Yeah, just like
to,
in some, like, scientific processes.
So Daniel Carasso's the guy for Danone.
For Danone. I mean, I feel
What's
a
happening
little
here?
bit bad for making fun of his name, but not still.
Right.
Dan one.
So originally known as Danone and still known that way around the world, the Bronx-based yogurt company first opened its doors in 1942 with the goal of selling only plain unsweetened yogurt. So
that was their
goal? Is Warren Metzger?
Okay.
Well, I mean, if they're using it in Europe, they're like, people like this.
Okay, right. That's true. Okay, the goal was
and 1/6 the calories of sour cream.
It just sounds so funny that that's how they would market something. Like if you heard that being marketed now, you're like, yogurt. It's a great alternative to sour cream. Like,
you know what? Actually, my mom avoids sour cream a lot because she thinks it's like super fatty. So she won't go nuts with it. Like on her baked potatoes or whatever. Like she just won't. She's very, very, and I'm always looking at her like, load on the sour cream. It's good. But she's like, no, it's way too fatty. And I'm like, what?
But
so maybe it would work on her.
Yeah, I guess so.
How dare you?
You should tell her that next time. You should go bring her a yogurt and be like, this is better than sour cream. You can feel good about it.
But it's fruit on the bottom and she kills me. Here's your mango nachos. So immigrants were loving it. Everyone else, the Americans were like, go to hell. And because they like sweet stuff, right? And so during the company's first 5 years, it remained mostly a hand-produced business. That's kind of cool. And with artisans supplying just a couple hundred cups a day out of tiny little one-room shop. Those cups were then hand-delivered to local cafeterias and pharmacies in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan. To grow sales, around 1947, Carasso introduced a concept that had already been around in Europe. Oh, so it started in Europe? I mean, I knew that. Fruit compote. This became what we know as fruit on the bottom yogurt. So it started earlier. You know what? We're going to have a part 2 to this.
But fruit compote just on its own is not yogurt with fruit on the bottom. Fruit compote is just the fruit part of it. Maybe he was the first to combine it. He was Danone. He was number one, first person.
You're right.
I'm always right. Whatever. Let's keep going. Let's pretend we're right.
Not only was I'm loving it. Not only was adding fruit to the bottom a sweet answer to his American palate problem, but this is the best part, but placing the fruit below the yogurt achieved another, perhaps less obvious goal. At the time, U.S. food safety standards for dairy production required that dairy products not be mixed with other things in it. Putting fruit on the top or blending it would have broken this requirement. No. By placing the fruit on the bottom and the cultured milk on top, Carasso was able to convince health authorities that it would be safe to package and eat due to the low pH base on the acidity and fermented blah, blah, blah. So,
no way!
Yeah. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Is so cool. Because that's why fruit can't be on top. Right?
Yeah. Because I always wondered, I'm like, well, no, I want it on top because it's easier to like
mix in.
You would dip your spoon in. You could just take a nice
perfect bite.
Yeah, but apparently, but it's a big debate of like, what's better? Do you mix it all up, or do you like being able to control the amount?
No, you have to mix it.
Compote. It depends. Like if I once had one that the compote was too sweet, but it was good. But too sweet. And if I put too much, like if I mixed it all in, it was like,
Well, you don't have to mix the whole thing, but you have to mix it.
Could you stop my rant about yogurt mixing?
I never realized that we both were so passionate about this.
Right? So basically it took off. People went wild because it was sweet and yummy and yeah. And that's it.
And then
until part 2 when I discover what happened in Europe. Damn it.
Oh my God.
Let this be a lesson to you kids. Read everything, not just every second line in a panic.
Every second line is fine. I learned something new, so I got what I came for.
Right?
That's so cool. I love that it's fruit on the bottom. Like, there's a reason for that. And I can't believe that Danone is like, or Danone is so, Danone is so old. That it's like the OG yogurt people. That's crazy.
I'm still having to find out who Juan Metzger is. What's that called?
Well, he was just a scientist guy or something, wasn't he? No, he was a yogurt entrepreneur.
Right?
Damn it.
I know.
Well,
this is
I'm
scandalous.
sure there were more people doing it, and that but only some succeed, right?
Yeah.
It's the world of big business, my friend.
Yogurt business.
Yogurt business. That was
pause
awesome.
Or talk. Well, don't pause, but talk. I need to grab a Kleenex.
Like, what is happening? Why are you giving me these specific instructions? Don't tell me what to do. I'll pause and I'll talk.
Sorry.
Oh.
Usually I'm more prepared. I have my Kleenex box and everything.
How dare you not be prepared?
That's pretty much it.
That was
I'm
awesome.
on brand.
I loved it.
Yeah, your turn.
Okay. So this week, I don't know why this idea popped into my head, but I think I'm kind of like, since we've been doing this podcast, I mean, the reason that I wanted to do this podcast was because I noticed certain things and I was really curious about them, but I was like, oh, that would be cool to know about the origins of something. But now that we've actually got this podcast, it's crazy. Like, in every situation that I'm in, something will just pop into my head, or somebody will say a word and I'm like, ooh, I bet that's got a good story, or like, I want to find out the origin of it, or like, it's actually made me way more curious than I was before, and it actually makes me see it through in a way, like look stuff up and be like, no way, like fruit on the bottom, that's crazy. My mind is blown right now.
No, I know. In the past, I would just like, stuff would come up and I'd be like, oh, I wonder when that started, but I would never follow through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it ended with me just being like, oh, that would be cool. And not actually like I wish it would be neat to know that. It's like, well, you can know that. You can just learn it on your own. No, I need an outside reason to do something.
You can know that.
Okay, so I think I was just watching like a TV show or something. And it just popped into my head and I was like, wow, I wonder why we call it that. So today I'm talking about the origin of kindergarten. Because I was like, I knew that it's a German word, but I was like, why in America do we keep the German word? Like, why is that the only thing? Because there have been all kinds of things that have come to North America that we don't keep the like original language for it. But this is the original language, but that most people probably don't know. Like, people that don't know other languages or have ties to Europe or whatever wouldn't necessarily automatically think, oh, that's a German in origin, right?
Can I just say, I love that we're like such geeks for knowledge, because I'm like really, really excited to hear about this. Like, I'm just at the edge. Like, I'm like practically hyperventilating. I'm like, calm down, you geek. Like, holy. Anyway.
This is your fruit on the bottom yogurt. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so my sources for this were Smithsonian Magazine. I almost didn't say that properly. And then there was a journal written by Angela Sancho Passe called Kindergarten in the 21st Century. So those are my main two sources that I got all this stuff from. So the word kindergarten literally means garden of children in German. And it's kind of now used as a metaphor for children growing like flowers, nurtured by a positive environment and an attentive gardener, which I thought was funny.
Garden of children.
I know.
Oh. I mean, they're little psychos, but it's still cute.
I know. The first kindergarten in the world was opened in Blankenburg, Germany by Friedrich Froebel. Froebel and his followers...
Are you sure it wasn't Juan Metzger?
It might be. He's a yogurt entrepreneur and a kindergarten teacher. There's not much money in yogurt entrepreneur.
And there isn't like kindergarten? Yeah. I love it.
There's no money anywhere. Definitely not in education. Wow. Okay, so Froebel and his followers believed that children should be in school from a young age. At the time, it was not usual to educate young children. The common belief at this time was that children were little creatures who needed stern handling to become good adults. So they were almost seen as like kind of a nuisance and kind of like they were seen kind of in this negative way that like they just had to be really stern with them and to make sure that they grew up properly.
Right.
Play was seen as a waste of time and proof that children should be tamed so that they could be more productive. Froebel, what am I saying his name? Froebel believed that children were inherently good-natured and that they should be encouraged to learn about the world around them through creative, imaginative, and spontaneous play. And then he also did this thing where he really encouraged them learning in a circle. So it's like the kindergarten circle kind of thing. There were specific reasons for that where he's like, oh, it helps you like see and learn from each other, and it's the community thing. Like it was this whole thing. And I'm like, did kids never sit in a circle before then? Like, and do stuff? Because it popped up in everything that I saw about it that he kind of started this whole like kids learning in a circle thing. I'm like, did that never happen? Because that always happened now, but maybe that's where it started.
They'd have to have like eyes front, right?
Yeah.
In their little desks. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah. But crazy that like I remember being in kindergarten and sitting in a circle and doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But you would never actually think that would have an origin,
that would
right?
need to be something that was invented or done first and became a trend,
but it actually
or became
makes
a thing.
A lot of sense, right?
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So he had...
Unless kindergarten-age children just naturally go into a circle.
Let's do an experiment. Let's get a bunch of little kids and let them wander about and see where they land.
Yeah. Who are you? Quiet, we're doing science.
This is science happening. So he had a whole theory about how play should be shaped and encouraged. The day was supposed to start with songs and then continue with play with a series of toys. Like he had a very specific kind of set thing of how it should go. The lessons were designed for children aged 3 to 6 who weren't yet ready for traditional schoolwork.
Sorry. I imagine one kid like playing the flute out of turn and he's smacked really hard by this Froebel guy.
Get back in the circle.
Like he sounds so sweet and like and then suddenly it's like this really rigid thing of like, no, we're gonna play ball now.
Yeah, that might just be the way that I'm. But I think the point is more not that he was strict about it, but that he was very intentional about how he wanted them to be learning. I think I took a bit of a strict spin on that. That was me. I'd be the one smacking the kids around.
Okay.
So because the children were so young, he thought that women should be the ones to teach them, arguing that early education was an extension of mothering. He believed that women had the best sensitivity and qualities to work with young children in developing their emotional skills. And consequently, he ended up opening a training school just for women to train them to teach kindergarten, basically.
Sorry, what year was this again?
This was...
Roughly?
Did I not say what it was? I think it was 1837, I want to say.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, I kept thinking 19-something, and it's like...
I know, right?
Wow.
Crazy, hey?
Yeah.
So 1837. So at the time, his ideas were so new that the Prussian government closed all kindergartens in 1851, fearing a socialist revolutionary movement. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
So he opened up, it is 1837. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but it was everywhere. So he was open for what, like 14 years? Had kindergartens opened, was training people and whatever.
Yeah.
And then the government was like, no, this is too much. We don't want a revolution on our hands. So despite that, the concept had spread really quickly through the rest of the world. By the end of the 19th century, many countries had opened up kindergartens for middle-class children.
Really?
Yeah. So even though they were closed in Germany at that time, they still, the idea just spread. Yeah. Between 1900 and the start of World War I, England and France had started to establish free kindergartens for poor children. And then kindergartens reopened in Germany at the end of the 19th century. So I think they were closed for probably 40 years or something like that. They didn't have an exact date of when they were reopened.
Right.
Or somebody did, and I didn't look for it.
Fair enough. That's how we roll here.
Yep. The first American kindergarten was opened by Margaret Schurz in 1856 in Watertown, Wisconsin, for her immigrant German community. And it was a German language. It was only in German, and it was basically just for the German kids there.
Well, that's good, because if it was for the English kids, that would be...
What is happening?
Yeah.
This kindergarten caught the attention of Elizabeth Peabody, who started the first American English language kindergarten in Boston in 1860.
Wow.
Yeah. In large cities, charities began to fund private kindergartens to care for the 3 to 6-year-old kids of immigrant factory workers.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Probably because they were working such long hours or something.
Yeah.
So they kind of said, so the kids were becoming, educated. They were happy, healthy. It was, the kids of these factory workers were actually, doing well.
Thriving.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe not thriving.
In 1873, St. Louis, Missouri became the first school district to have a public kindergarten. So 1873, a public kindergarten.
Okay.
By 1914, the beginning of World War I, all the major American urban school systems had publicly funded kindergartens that were open for 5-year-olds. So by that point, I don't know when exactly the transition happened, but by that point, it was only for 5-year-olds. It was kind of limited to that year before they started actual school.
Yeah.
So actual school started anywhere in the age range. Legally, they had to have their child in school between the ages of 6 and 8.
Right.
So kindergarten kind of became that thing that they did. It wasn't play school. It wasn't preschool. It was usually attached to the school or whatever.
Yeah, and it wasn't just free daycare. It was structured learning.
And it was kind of
interesting.
It became more the intention of leading them into the proper school and stuff. I know that's kind of what it's seen as now, where it's okay.
Sorry, structured play I meant to say, not structured learning. But yeah, that's so cool.
So Mississippi was the last state to open a public kindergarten. And guess what year they opened it in?
Ooh, this is going to be scandalous. 1965.
No. 1986.
What?
I know. Isn't that crazy? They had all these dates, and I was that's one that I absolutely have to keep in. Because I was 86, what are you doing? I mean, that's the public kindergarten, so who knows?
I could have gone to kindergarten in Mississippi, and it'd be brand new. They wouldn't even know. That is wild. But they had, I assume, the private ones.
Yeah,
right?
I think they had other versions of it. It was just the actual public kindergarten.
Right. Maybe they were really poor? Question mark?
I don't know.
Maybe they didn't have the funds to, because...
Right, yeah.
Public school.
But 86, that's insane.
That is crazy.
So generally, the goal of kindergartens was to develop the overall cognitive and social emotional skills rather than learning to read and write. And the invention of kindergartens, or the beginning of them, and the trend of them moving across everywhere, is largely considered to be the beginning of considering the whole child, rather than just seeing children as just these things that eventually focusing on the adult so much, because childhood wasn't really seen as its own thing. It was just seen as these kids are around, and you put them to work, or you put them to whatever good use. You have to do something with, you try to teach them stuff until probably they're 10, and then they go fucking work in the mines. Sorry for my language. Go work in the mines or go work wherever, right?
Yeah.
So this was kind of seen, they're acknowledging that children at a young age were actually learning and able to, that their social emotional skills needed to be developed at different stages, and that it was like the whole child, not just learn to read and write and then go to work and do this and do that. It was teaching them as a whole. So that was kind of the beginning of it.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now kindergarten is just normal. Like that's what you do.
And they never tried to call it anything else then?
No.
Probably.
No, it just seems
well,
like
I guess the woman who really pioneered it, right? She would, because she had the German
right.
descent,
because when it came over to
German.
North America, it was the German thing.
Yeah.
But then the English, like when Elizabeth Peabody kind of opened the first one in English, she didn't change the name of it. It just stayed as kindergarten.
That's so cool.
Because they have different names for other stuff, like preschool or play school or whatever, but none of those are the same as kindergarten.
Peabody as in like Peabody?
Yeah, I think so.
The famous name. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe she was charmed by how cute it was, like we were. And
maybe.
She was like,
oh, how quaint. Kindergarten.
Yeah.
I want to grow children here. That's
and
what
it's
she
easy
sounded
to
like,
say.
but with a Boston accent. I dare you to do it. I don't know how to do it.
Nope. I would like to not be killed. Thank you. Can I just say, this all made me think of the ridiculous story that my dad told me when he was little. I think around 6 or 7, like it was pretty young. They were called into the fields by the hunters in there. They were in Poland, and they were going to go hunt a wild boar.
Okay.
And they brought the kids out, and the kids' job was to flush the boar out. And then when they started hearing, like, the kids, when they heard the shots being fired, they had to duck.
What?
I laughed for about 7 days after that. I'm like, what did you just tell me?
Because my first thing was like, okay, then what do they do when they start shooting at the boar? These kids are just standing there.
No, yeah, they're just ducked in. They're in the shrubs.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So that's kindergarten in Poland. It's fine. It's different in every culture.
Yeah, no kindergarten. Come on, no, they just go hunt for wild boar and have to duck. And I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
That is
Although
awesome.
I forgot to mention something, and I have to mention it because if this doesn't end up on the podcast, like it has to. I remembered just a couple days ago the T-shirt that you wore that I saw in your photo album, the hand-me-down T-shirt from
oh my gosh,
Michelle.
My name is Michelle.
Yes, my name is Michelle.
We were just talking about that the other day.
That is my favorite. I think one of my all-time favorite things. So I was looking at photo albums. I was at your house. And then I saw you in a T-shirt and said, my name is Michelle. And
which is my older sister's name, by the way.
Yes. And I'm like, what are you wearing?
So the whole story behind that, though, is that I'm the third born. Like, I'm the baby of the family. And I've always complained about how I have hardly any baby pictures of me. So it's always been like this thorn in my side where I'm like, because I'm the one that like loves, I love pictures, and I love looking at the history of our family and like where I came from and all this stuff. So I've always been obsessed with seeing old pictures and all that kind of stuff. And so there were almost no baby pictures of me. I mean, there's some, but my sister has an entire album just from like one day of her as a baby where my dad just went nuts and had this big photo shoot with her. Like, she has so many baby pictures because she was the firstborn. My brother has so many baby pictures. Well, he doesn't have as many as my sister, but still, I mean, he's the first boy. They're pretty close in age. It was a time.
Yeah.
And then I came a long way later, and nobody cared. But so we got these slides. My dad used to put, because back in the 70s and 80s, he was obsessed with putting, instead of getting pictures developed, he would get them made into slides. And then we'd have the slide projector and like sit and watch all of our our pictures. It was actually pretty fun. So we got his old slides, and we were going through, and I actually found a whole bunch of pictures of me when I was little. Most of them were of me hugging puppies and kittens really hard. Almost every single one I
can attest really hard, where I was actually worried about the welfare of these animals, and I thought, oh,
I loved them so much. Maybe a bit too much. But so, yeah, and then this picture came up. Oh, because we were talking about, like, I was, being all like, oh, poor me, so hard done by that I'm the youngest. All I got were hand-me-downs, like, all this stuff. So as we're talking about hand-me-downs, we clicked to the next picture. And I was like, what is that? What does my t-shirt say? I'm standing there, like, just my diaper with a t-shirt on. I'm, like, playing whatever on the farm, whatever. It's cute. And then I'm like, wait a second, what does that say? Hi, my name is. And then I'm like, does that say Michelle? And so my whole family, my mom was there, my sister was there. I'm like, Mom, what were you doing? Like, you were taking hand-me-downs to a new extreme. Like, of all the shirts, you can put me in anything else, but you put me in that. Like, I'm just walking around saying, hi, my name is Michelle, and that is not my name at all. Oh my gosh, we were laughing so hard.
Love that.
Yeah, we were joking about it just this weekend. We joke about it lots now because I bring it up all the time.
Well, it's so classic. Like, really, it's just rubbing salt in the wound. And it's so sad because, like, you'd think with photos especially, like, as time moves on, technology, it's, like, easier to take photos and, right?
Yeah.
Like, you'd think there would be more of you because, oh, hey,
No.
Not digital cameras, but, like, film and everything.
No, but because by that point it's not a novelty, right? Like, I wasn't even my own person. I was a little miniature Michelle. But it has nothing to do with the technology. It has to do with the intention.
My dad, he was always into tech. Same with my mom. And so for him, it was totally tech driven. So there are lots of pictures and home videos and everything because of the...
But if you look, because you're the youngest too, like, if you compared what photos, well, I guess you have a different situation though, because your parents left Poland when your sisters were really little. Were they able to take their pictures with them?
Of all of us.
Oh, okay.
No, they actually lost a lot of them, and I think my aunt has most of them, and she won't give it to my mom.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't know, insulting. Whatever, that's a whole
You go into her house with a bunch of framed pictures, like baby pictures of your sisters. This is awkward.
That's a little weird. Yeah. Like, obviously, there wasn't, like, some huge abundance, because, like, in Poland, what are they doing? But still, there was a surprising amount of photos of them. And then, as we grew up here... the home videos and the pictures just didn't stop.
Yeah.
Like, they're still obsessed with it. Even they chase us with their... Actually, now, even though, like, we have, like, it's so much easier with, like, your phone and stuff like that, right? It feels like there's less...
Because you don't look at them anymore.
Family photos in general, right? Even I take less family photos.
I think it's because it's that thing of, like, oh, it's so readily accessible. Of course someone's going to take a picture. Oh, we have so many pictures or whatever. But it's the same here. Like, my intention was this weekend, because we had Thanksgiving here.
Yeah.
And my mom and my sister were in town, and Kayla and Brennan came out. Like, we had everybody together, which was really nice, and made a big dinner. And I didn't take a single picture of any of it. And I was like, oh, I should have commemorated this somehow, like, taken a picture. And I feel like back in the day, you're like, oh, yeah,
you'd all line up.
Let's all sit on the couch together and we'll take a picture. Like, you make more a point of it. But now, because it's so easy and everybody has the ability to be taking pictures at all times, you just assume, or you don't think about it. You're like, well, I don't want too many pictures.
And for me, it's more like cuteness factor in a way. Like, I will take pictures of my nephew and Phoebe, my dog. And that's it.
Yeah. No one else makes the cut.
Well, and birds and flowers. Basically anything other than my family. Except for Flynn. Food. No, but I'm thinking of parents specifically. They probably still take lots of pictures, right?
I don't know.
I'm not a parent. I don't know. I'm taking tons of pictures of my nephew. I know his dad takes lots of pictures of him.
Yeah. I mean...
So maybe it hasn't changed. Maybe
it hasn't changed. We just don't have kids, so we don't care anymore. It is weird, though, that somebody would, back in the day when it was like, you had to, like, buy film and get it developed and do all that stuff.
But your dad was into photography.
He was into photography, which is why it always hurt a little bit that there weren't that many pictures of me. And all of my pictures are so like every single one, except for that one that has hi, my name is Michelle. Actually, even in that one, there might have been a cat or a dog. I don't know. In almost every single picture, it's because I'm like hugging a little kitten or a puppy, or I'm going after one. Like there's a whole series of pictures of me like going up like to this like cat on the steps of our farmhouse. It's so cute. And you just see me. I almost have an evil look on my face where I'm like, I'm coming for you, cat. Like I just wanted to snuggle it so much.
Oh, man.
Oh, the good old days.
The good old days. You're like sharing trauma here.
No, it was all good. It was great.
And you're going to go explode somewhere.
I'm going to go cry. I'm going to go put on a shirt that says, hi, my name is Michelle on it. Well, I'm definitely not going to go to
laugh
kindergarten.
and laugh. You're going to go to kindergarten.
You need to go eat some damn yogurt with fruit on the bottom.
Fine. I do have some fruit on the bottom yogurt in the fridge. I'm going to go eat fruit on the bottom, yogurt, and giggle.
I'm going to go eat plain yogurt, and because I just roasted some apples on the stove with some cinnamon on them. I made my own.
You're going to make your own fruit on the
You betcha.
Go to hell. All right.
Good times.
Goodbye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.